Hello Virgos, welcome to my channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. Please, it's a broken record, but to appreciate your support with the big three to help with the YouTube algorithms to promote channels, and that is click on the video, click on subscribe to the channel, and click on notification bell. If you already have done that, thank you so very much. If you haven't, please consider, because it'll definitely help with the algorithms for YouTube, and you won't be bombarded with junk mails or anything else. It's just a YouTube algorithm. So appreciate it, and thanks for considering such. Virgos, this is a 5-card tarot card reading for the overall energy for the time frame between November 1st and 15th of 2020. It's a general reading for the larger collective of Virgos, and it's intended for informational purposes. Please keep in mind that the information may not resonate with all Virgos, of course, and that's totally okay. Take what fits, let the rest go. To save time, I already shuffled the cards and requested the universal guidance, and the cards that were ejected on their own are listed here. This first card represents the energy for your past influences that were significant in the last few months, give or take. In some cases, that energy may have resolved, in others, it could still be lingering. The second card here represents your present energy for this time frame. The third card here represents your future energy for the time frame, things that are on the cusp or could be appearing for you. The fourth card here represents your challenges, your challenging energies, things that, keep in mind, these are things that may not imply anything negative. They could be things to be aware of, but mostly they're usually choices that you may be presented for you to make based on your free will. And finally, the fifth card here represents the outcomes, your outcome energies for this time period, for this reading. Our first card here, we have the Prince of Pentacles, or it's also known as Pages in other tarot cards. Keep in mind that these are typically messenger cards. But one second here. Angels and Spirit Guides, please help us understand why the Page or Prince of Pentacles is here for Virgo and their past influences, please. Well, I'm picking up here for many Virgos and your past influences. You were sort of presented with new beginnings. There was inspiration. Many of you were on the initial stages of creating something new, whether it was a new project or a new venture, perhaps even a new relationship, a new hobby. The Pentacles here, typically rule the material realm and correspond, to elements of Earth. And the Page or the Prince here for you Virgos was symbolizes that you were on becoming more aware of the value of your money and perhaps your wealth and your possessions and your career, your physical health. You were wanting to manifest more of these sort of material sort of blessings. Virgos, you were welcome. I'm picking up that many of you were welcome to new opportunities that were pertaining to your material life, such as a new job, new business. Some of you may have come into some sort of money, and you were wishing to sort of discover how to turn your dreams into reality. Yeah, I'm picking, the Page of Pentacles here, or the Prince here, is showing up in your reading. From what I'm getting at, is you in your past influences were encouraged to sort of tap into your ability to manifest, things that you wanted, your personal goals or your dreams, Virgo. And many of you were in the midst of a new project, such as could have been a hobby or a business venture, could have been an educational experience. You were excited about those possibilities and the potential. Once you put your mind to it, and you had that innate feeling that you could create whatever you wanted to, with as long as you were focused with your attention and your awareness. Keep in mind, though, Virgos, that the Page or the Prince here, Pentacles, doesn't specify that Virgos you attained or fulfilled your dreams. What I'm picking up here is that you had the motivation to initiate, and you had the drive, is what I was picking up to them. Some of you, it was encouraging you to put plans in place, or to develop a strategic plan. And if you were able to do that, you were able to focus on sort of the practical and even sort of the tangible elements. and you did so without any risk, and you didn't get carried away. It was really about being realistic and understanding how you could achieve this and the best results for you. I'm picking up that Virgos, you used common sense and you developed a pragmatic approach, and that was really what your emphasis was trying to find a solution that was going to work for you. Hmm. In your uh, present energy, we have the Five of Swords here for you. Angels and spirit guides, please help us understand why the Five of Swords here is for Virgo and their present energy for this time frame, please. Well, I'm picking up the Five of Swords here, Virgos, in your present energy for this time frame. I'm picking up that there's going to be a falling out or a disagreement or a conflict. Some of you Virgos may be on the verge or be thinking about or be wondering if you should walk away from whatever the situation is, and you might be feeling a sense of sadness or loss. There, you could be upset and even resentful over heated words that might have been exchanged or that you said and wish that you held back. This sort of creates a bad blood sort of feeling or an uneasy regret, I guess, is what I'm picking up here. Because whatever this relationship was, it turned things, bad. Um, so I'm picking up here, Virgos, that many of you are feeling that even if you sort of won the argument, and even if you rightfully won the argument, um, what you're feeling basically in sort of regret is, did that argument cost you trust? Did it cost your respect? Did it cost your dignity? And perhaps you're feeling even isolated by that decision. And Virgo, as you try to sort of pick up the pieces and settle that conflict and put it behind you, I'm picking up that many of you are finding it more difficult than you thought. And some Virgos, perhaps you lost faith in yourself, and you're keeping that distance from that other person. Um, so you're sort of having to make a decision, Virgos, of whether your point of view was so important to you that you were willing to put your relationship in jeopardy, um, or if you can compromise. This is about picking your battles. I'm picking up here that the advice of the Five of Swords here is about picking your battles, Virgo. And it's reminding you that maybe you may be tempted to want to fight every conflict, either one because you're right or to get your way, or to prove that you're right. And of course, defending yourself makes a lot of sense, and especially when we're feeling challenged and threatened. However, this is in your present energy during this time frame because it's asking you to choose your battles wisely and identify if there's a much better way of life than engaging in every disagreement. Not only will it lead to a more peaceful existence, but it's also important for your interpersonal relationships, and they will become stronger. So the theme here is pick your battles. Virgo, the Five of Swords here I'm picking up is, and for some, is indicating that when you're competing with others, it's important to know that that's a part of success. So if you're seeing them as threats to your own happiness, and some of you may be wanting to seek to win at any cost, and that's to the extreme. So, Virgos, if you've engaged in conflict and you can see that it's taking its toll on your relationships, the Five of Swords here is an invitation to apologize. It's letting you know and being mindful that the longer you sort of brood or the more you sort of overthink the situation, and even knowing that it was about proving that you were right, the more challenging the relationships is going to become. And I'm picking up a relationship that you can't necessarily do without. They're involved with you in some way or another. So, this is an invitation, Virgo, to be ready to say that you were wrong or to at least make amends. And if anything, go back to the person and say, hey, can we find a compromise? There's no sense in trying to justify your behavior. This is a sort of a karmic energy. that I'm picking up here for you, Virgo. This is about letting it go and moving on. And in order for you to move on, you have to find a common ground to those that you were fighting with. And perhaps, again, either seek forgiveness or seek a compromise. And by doing so, you will achieve a lot more. And that's the key here. Have faith. The Five of Swords, and for some Virgos can also point out a sense of failure. And in this case, even if you put your best foot forward, Virgos, and you did everything in your all, some of you may be feeling sort of beaten up, and your outcome wasn't as positive as you thought. Um, and if that's the case, you may be feeling disillusioned, and sort of beating yourself up and wondering if it was worth it. This also sort of points out to you, Virgos, again, the Five of Swords, in this case, is again about accepting the defeat and to learn from it. And that's the key here. It's about being mindful, be smarter and wiser the next time, but learn from your mistakes and learn from your challenges, because that's a part of life. It's about what you do with it. That's what's important. In our future energies, we have the Five of Wands. Angel and spirit guides, please help me understand, or help us understand for Virgos, why the Five of Wands here is in their future energy for this time period, please. Well, typically a 5 here, Virgo, represents conflict and change. So having the Five of Wands here in your sort of future energy during this time frame is again sort of pointing out there's either some sort of conflict or change surrounding you. This is this sort of indicates that there could be tension or some sort of competition with others, and in many cases you're sort of, Virgo, feeling the impact. It's impacting you for moving forward with your goals. And this could, whether it's this argument right here in your current energy, but if you, I'm sort of picking up there's a resistance to find a common goal. So if you're not able to find that common goal, Virgo, you're running up against constant opposition in whatever this is. As with, keep in mind that the Five of Wands, everyone is fighting to be heard, and that's sort of what the message here. And by everyone sort of fighting to get their point across, you can imagine that no one's listening, and when everybody has a different opinion and no one is stopping to hear each other out, it's bound to sort of create that conflict and misunderstandings, and those things will run rampant, and that's the energy I'm picking up here. So Virgo, if you're finding yourself in this situation, this card is encouraging you to see it as an opportunity to rise above the chaos and this disorder. And you can take the intuition and the energy and take the higher road. And it's encouraging you to sort of take a moment and pause to listen to what the others have to say. Even if you disagree, Virgo, the key here and the learning lesson here is to tune into one another and allow each others to make their case and to be heard. And that's really what the process is. It's allowing others to voice their opinions, but do so in a softer and quieter approach, and not in the yelling and screaming, because that just puts up walls. By doing so, Virgo, you're going to get a lot of respect that you're seeking, and they're going to be able to be listening to your viewpoint that you're trying to make. Virgo, sometimes conflict and discussions can be productive, and this is about using that opportunity to have a group brainstorming and problem solving. It's about creating a constructive environment where thoughts and ideas can be exchanged, even in challenged, and sometimes by challenging that can be improved. So I'm picking up for Virgo that you may benefit from establishing sort of a working group or a committee or some sort of other people's opinions, at least, and bounce your ideas off of them and the quality of the ideas and the actions, because you'll learn from it. The Five of Wands here, Virgo, encourages diversity and encourages differences of opinion. So, you may be dealing with people from different, backgrounds or cultures, and perhaps you're struggling to accept, their their opinions. But this is asking you to be mindful that each person has a unique idea and unique backgrounds to bring to the table, and that you, Virgo, will benefit in learning more about them and what they have to offer. So this is a learning lesson for you, Virgo. The 501s encourages sort of this enthusiastic approach for change. It's even a transition or transformation, and it's going to come whether you like it or not, Virgo. So your the choice and your future energy is about welcoming them, and having sort of an open mind, and having a strategy that has a purpose, that you gather other people's opinions, because it will save you a lot of time and a lot of conflict if you open it up now versus later. And that could be whether it's personal or a business decision about or conflict. In your challenges during this time, you have a major arcana card. You have the Chariot. Angel and spirit guides, please help us understand for Virgo why the Chariot here is in their energy reading, please, for this time period. Chariot. Hmm. Well, interesting. Hmm. 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 Well, Virgo, we know the Chariot here. This is about control, willpower, success, action sort of ideas. It's about determination. Um, I'm picking up that you know, Virgo, you've sort of discovered how to make decisions that are in alignment with your values, and or that's your challenge, is to discover how to make decisions that will be in alignment with your values. And you're going to take action on those decisions, and this could be about this conflict right here. Um, so you may have set your objectives, and you're sort of channeling an inner power, and you're being extremely dedicated and focused to bring them to forward, and you're doing so by applying discipline and commitment and willpower to achieve those goals, to make sure that you succeed. um, you're going to realize that now is the time not to be passive and hope that things will work out. You're going to be taking a more focused action and stick to that course, uh, and no matter what challenges come your way. And I'm picking up, though, that by doing so, there will be challenges. Uh, in many cases, Virgo, you're going to find yourself in these challenges about being pulled in opposite directions, and you're going to have to find that inner strength and that inner conviction, because you're going to be tested. You're going to find that others may try to block you. You may be distracted. Some may try to drag you down in pursuit of this goal. But keep in mind that the Chariot is an invitation to draw upon your willpower, and hone in on what's essential to you, Virgo. So you can push the obstacles that do not serve you out of the way. This is about an opportunity, Virgos, to see whether you have what it takes to achieve your goals, and complete sort of an important project. The Chariot here is a sign, Virgos, that you're going to be successful so long as you keep focused and remain confident in your abilities. Uh, this is going to call upon you to use your willpower and self-discipline, and concentration is going to be key. It's also important that you don't cut corners or take the easy route, because if you do, you're going to fail. So your challenge here is to see this endeavor as a test of your strength and conviction, and recognize that your success is within reach, but it's going to be up to you to follow through with it. Um, the Chariot, in your challenges here is going to encourage you to assert yourself and be courageous. This is about being, bold in expressing your desires and identifying boundaries and laying them down. Uh, yeah, this is about having faith in yourself and know the fundamental and know who you are. It's about standing your ground and your convictions, and particularly it's important that you're doing so with a good heart and with good intentions. That is key. For some Virgos, you may be presented with an opportunity to travel, or some kind of travel, whether it's a road trip or short or long distance. Um, I'm also picking up that this could bring about changes in your home environment. Uh, yeah, I mean, but I'm picking most of this is about whatever project you're working on. So keep in mind, though, with this strength and conviction, make sure that you bring in diversity and listen to others' opinions first. That will help you prevent a lot of the challenges. And finally, in our last card, our fifth card, we have the Eight of Swords. Angels and Spirit Guides, please help us understand why the Eight of Swords here is in Virgo's outcomes during this time period, please. Well, Virgo, for some of you, I'm feeling during this time period that some of you may be feeling trapped or restricted, particularly by your circumstances. I'm picking up some of you are sort of feeling that your options are limited, uh, and you haven't sort of put out a strategic plan. And this could be, whether it's an unfulfilling job, it could be whether you've increased some debt, it could be sort of any situation that's out of alignment with your inner being. It's again about feeling that saying of being, between a rock and a hard place, and you're not seeing, the end result, or you're not seeing a way out. This could be involving an abusive relationship. Keep in mind, though, the Eight of Swords here is about self-imprisonment, so self-limitations. So although you're feeling trapped, or perhaps you're feeling sort of imprisoned by these sort of ideas, this card is letting you know that those tend to be your own inner feelings, that you have options. Um, with the Eight of Swords, this is in your outcome energy reading, Virgo, is warning you that your thoughts and beliefs that no longer serve you, you need to release them. You might be overthinking things, and by doing so, you're creating negative patterns that ideally are limiting yourself. And perhaps you're thinking about a worst case scenario, particularly if you're working on some sort of project here. The more you think about this situation in your head, those probably more doubts are being circled around in your head and making things worse for you, and perhaps causing a stalemate or just no change. So this is about an invitation, Virgo, to change your thoughts. And if you change your thoughts, you're going to change your reality. So the laws of attraction here are critically important. Replace negative thoughts with positive ones. And manifest those, and start from small, start vague, and they will create change to the universe. You will start to create more favorable outcomes for yourself, Virgo. The Eight of Swords here is assuring you that there's a way out of any sort of predicament. You just need to change your perspective. You already have the resources, I'm picking up, and it's going to be up to you, Virgo, to use those resources that will serve you. And if others are helping you, take their help. This is not about doing things on your own. It's being open to finding answers rather than being stuck with the problems. Sometimes the Eight of Swords is associated with the victim mentality. So some Virgos, if you're sort of surrendering your power to some sort of external entity and you're allowing yourself to become trapped and limited, then that's that victim mentality. And perhaps you feel it's not your fault. or things are happening against your will. But again, this is about asking yourself is if those thoughts are serving you. If they're not serving you, Virgos, this is an opportunity to open your eyes, and the options will be right in front of you. The universe will support you. So the reality is, that you have choices, Virgo, even if you don't like them, but you're not powerless by any means, and the universe is going to stand behind you. So in many cases, the Eight of Swords, Virgos, is perhaps if you're feeling confused about whether you should stay or go in a particular situation, or whether you should move on or let go of a challenging situation or experience. Keep in mind that we know there's no clear-cut, cookie-cutter ways to do things. Sometimes making decisions are difficult. But you have to go forward and make the decision. Staying stuck is not going to help you. Um, and over worrying about whether one option could lead to negative consequences, it's just going to keep you stuck further. Um, this is an energy here, Virgo, and your outcomes for this time frame is about asking you to get those things out of your head, um, drop down into your gut and your intuition, and then listen to that inner guidance. And your thoughts, those negative thoughts that aren't serving you right now, um, let them go, release them, and trust your intuition and trust yourself. That's the key. Trust yourself, and you will succeed. So, Virgo, there you have it. Thank you so much. Again, I appreciate if you will support my channel and click on like this video and click on the subscribe and uh, notifications buttons. I appreciate it if you would. If you like to support this channel, of course. Feel free, Virgos, to leave a comment if you feel any part of this reading was resonated with you. I appreciate hearing those thoughts. If it didn't resonate with you, or parts of it did not resonate with you, Virgo, understandable. Let it go. It just doesn't mean it was represented for you. This was a general reading, and to keep it as such. So I thank you again for watching the video and my channel, and I wish you a wonderful first 2 weeks of November. And take care. Thank you.